Hey family, it is Yolanda, your everything real estate expert, because I am a realtor and I'm also a loan officer here in the state of Georgia. And today I wanted to come on and talk about the 5 things that affect your credit score. And these are really good because it can help you kind of determine where you need to focus to increase your credit score. So the first thing and the biggest factor that affects your score is your payment history. It's no other way to spit it to you, but you got to pay on time. That accounts for 35% of your credit score. So if you have a lot of late payments, it's going to hurt your credit score. You may not have anything in collections, but say you had 2 60-day lates. That reports, and they look at the length of time that you had the late payment and the number of times. So not only do they look at you had late payments, but they start counting. You have 30, 60, 90, and so forth and so on. And they report the actual length of time you were late and how many times. The more you have, the lower your score is going to be. And the only way to rectify that is to practice the habit of paying your bills on time. Over time, it will increase your score. The second thing that affects your score is credit utilization, or the amount you owe on your balances. So when we talk about utilization, let's say you have a $1,000 credit limit and you done bought 2 or 3 pairs of shoes and you racked up $900. You don't have nothing but $100 to borrow off of, so that's high utilization. And yes, you may pay your monthly payment on time, never miss a payment, but 30% of your credit score is based off the utilization. So a lot of times if I see you have high balances, I will recommend you need to pay those down. And typically they like for everything to be below 30%. So in the case of $1,000 credit limit, you need to be below $300 for your balance. And that's a safe place to be. So remember, you have the credit, but don't use it all if you're trying to purchase a home, because credit utilization is going to negatively affect your score if it is too high. The third thing that affects your score is the length of credit history. So that's how long have you had your trade lines? 5 years, 10 years, whatever. The longer they've been open and active, the better your score, and that counts for 15% of your score. And I always tell people, try not to let your accounts close. And the reason is, say you have an older account that gets closed, that shortens your length of time that you had your overall credit history. So yes, you may have a car that you never use, or you want to try to pay everything off. Don't, because if you don't have those active accounts, it's going to make your length of credit history shorter. Or sometimes if you don't use your credit, the creditor will actually close the account for you because you're not using the credit anymore, so they will just go ahead and close it. And that is why I always say, don't pay it off right now, just pay it down. 30% is good, but if you can pay it down even more, great, but don't pay it off, because some creditors will close the account. You have credit mix. That is just, they want different trade lines. They want to see mortgages, they want to see credit cards, they want to see loans, they want to see installment loans. The more types, it helps your credit score, but that's only 10%. So it's not that big of a deal, but it can help to have different types of credit. And the last thing, and I think the one that everybody kind of gets confused about, is new credit, or your inquiries. So if you have a lot of new credit or new inquiries, that can affect your score. Now, when we talk about inquiries, we're talking about hard inquiries. Like you checking your score is just a soft inquiry. If somebody says it's just going to be a soft pull, what the creditors or what the bureaus are looking for are a bunch of hard inquiries. And yes, when you are shopping for a mortgage, it is a hard inquiry because we look at everything. But I know sometimes you're like, well, I don't want you to pull my credit because it's going to affect my score. It affects 10%, and you have 45 days to shop lenders. So as long you can have 10 different lenders pull your credit within those 45 days and they lump it into one hard inquiry. If they see a lot of hard inquiries in a short amount of time, it is the assumption that you're a risky buyer because you're trying to get all this credit. So don't go and, I always say like Christmas time, you're going into the stores and everybody's saying, oh, you can get 30% off today, you can get an additional 25%. So you letting all these stores pull your credit. It's a bunch of inquiries in a short amount of time that would raise the red flag that you're being risky with your credit utilization. So number one is payment history. Pay your bills on time. It's 35%. The second biggest thing is credit utilization. Keep your balances below 30%. That accounts for 30% of your credit score. Length of credit history accounts for 15%. Try not to let your accounts get closed. Mix of credit is 10%. Try to have different types of credit. And the last thing is new credit, and that accounts for 10%. Not a lot of inquiries in a short amount of time. And remember that if you are looking for a mortgage, your credit can get pulled several times as long as it's within 45 days. So I hope that helps somebody. New buyers definitely can help you to kind of figure out what you can do to increase your score. Your lender should be able to help you for sure. I am very, very passionate about telling you exactly what you need to do to increase your score. And realtors, that's really, really good information. If they're saying, my credit's kind of messed up, you can ask the questions, do you have a lot of late payments? Do you have high balances? And you can say, well, focus on those things and, nurture them and keep up with them until they get it fixed. But that is it for today. And until next time, y'all be good.